All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Miami pulls out a massive win in Denver, powered by really an all-around performance by the whole team. Jimmy wasn't really great. Bam was fantastic all game. Duncan Robinson and Max Strus really had great games. Particularly Max Strus shot the ball really well to start it, and Duncan Robinson kind of closed it out. And we're able to beat Denver. And Denver suffers their first home loss in this postseason. And Miami now has home court advantage, the number 8 seed, in a best of five series versus the Denver Nuggets. So let's go ahead and get into the game. I think that the most important number that you're going to see from this game is the number four, that being four assists for the Joker. If you look at I believe Nick Wright put up a great stat that Denver Nuggets throughout the season were 14 and 17 when Jokic did not get 10 assists. And Miami made a concerted effort to make him into a scorer instead of a passer. He had 41 points tonight, but only four assists. And if you look at the box score and you look at the Denver Nuggets besides Jokic, it's pretty pedestrian. And, I always thought that this was probably the best strategy for them. I didn't know that stat, but I think that teams are accustomed to playing a certain way. And if you can knock them out of that rhythm, you can find success. And you can see Denver was just out of it offensively. A lot of those post cuts, those backdoor cuts that they were getting game one, Aaron Gordon with his post ups wasn't really happening. The Heat decided to go with Kevin Love in the starting lineup. And when they went with Kevin Love, I was under the impression that they might put Kevin Love on the Joker, but they didn't do that. They just had him guard Aaron Gordon. He guarded him well. I think his insertion into the starting lineup was very key in this game. Not only with the defense, he gave them some shooting, and he gave them a lot of outlet passes, which he is one of the best in the business. They talked about that on the broadcast, but they got um, a take foul, I believe, on one of the passes, and then on the other pass, I think they got a clear path foul. So he really paid a lot of dividends. Cody Zeller was really bad in this game. Part of the big run that Denver went on in the second quarter to flip it from a 10-point deficit to a 10-point lead was due to a lot of his miscues. He was really bad in the second half as well. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Kevin Love soak up more of his minutes in the backup five, and they go with Kevin Love to go forward. But I think he was tremendous. Max Strus, after going 0 for 10, was tremendous. He came out the gate firing. I think he made four threes in the first quarter. There was a three that was taken back because of an offensive foul on a Bam screen, but he played tremendous. Duncan Robinson, after a shaky first half, was really good in the second half. They got a lot of performances from him. Part of the Heat's making Jokic a scorer, I think, was putting Jimmy on Jamal Murray. Now, he was not great this game offensively. He did heat up in the fourth quarter when it mattered to close out the game, but he was on Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray had a pedestrian game. That might have sapped Jimmy a little bit, sapped his legs a little bit, but he was great, fantastic defending him. And those Murray flurries that we saw, and particularly in the Lakers series, we just didn't see those tonight, where he just routed off 10 quick points to get the crowd going and get the energy in the stadium. So I thought that was very pivotal. Gabe Vincent has been tremendous all series. Has really, defended well, has shot the ball well. He's been fantastic for them. He's been a rock, and Bam has scored very well. In addition to that, so again, a really all-around performance from the Heat. If you look at it from the Denver Nuggets side, again, it was all Jokic. Michael Porter Jr. really struggled shooting the ball and had a lot of defensive lapses. This is coming off a series versus the Lakers that he just couldn't miss. And, series have that way of doing that. You play well in one series and you have one bad game, a couple of mistakes, and then you're just in a bad funk for the rest of the series. So we'll see if he snaps out of it because they're going to need his scoring. Aaron Gordon, I mean, he had a monster fourth quarter in game one, but we really haven't felt his presence since then. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets on a look. Murray, once again, the Murray flurries that really define the Lakers series just didn't happen there. And if this Jimmy Butler matchup is something that's truly going to give him issues, I think Denver's going to be in a bit of trouble here. I picked the Heat to win in six. I thought that the Heat have played better caliber of opponents if you look at who they've played in the playoffs. I thought Denver, um, their opponents, were not of that caliber. I think, the Suns, obviously, they're a top heavy team. Chris Paul got hurt, and I don't know what the hell happened to DeAndre Ayton. And I also thought that every other night schedule really paid dividends for them going against a Lakers team where their best player is 38 years old, playing in altitude. This is a weapon that they've had because the majority of playoffs have been kind of fast and furious. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's the scheduling because of the playing games. I don't recall having such a condensed schedule last year in the playoffs. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but I think that the condensed schedule has definitely benefited Denver, obviously playing in altitude. And in the finals, they don't have that. They don't play again until Wednesday. And there was two games off in between this game. The only games that are uh, every other night are the two games that are in Miami. So that's something to look forward to in Ken, to a couple of things that caught my eye as well. Just randomly, I think Caleb Martin, after that strong series versus Boston, has kind of cooled off. Other players are picking him up, but maybe he can regain his stroke and his play as the series shifts back to Miami. Another thing I noticed is that the Miami Heat have still played a lot of zone and they have not been killed in it. Now, Joker has not really dominated the zone in ways that people think that he would. I'm interested to see that they always put him at the top of the zone. Um, one thing that is not discussed when it comes to him is his incredible 3-point shooting this playoffs. He's at 47% 3-point shooting, which really stresses the defense because you have to guard him at the 3-point line. And he's taking and making more threes than he did in the regular season, shooting at a far superior clip. I think he only shot about 35% in the regular season. So, um, but because of that, I think they're keeping him at the top of the key and trying to let him attack the key of the zone from the top. And when he flashes to the middle, it just really just turns into a post-up play. So the zone has been effective. They've been able to run it, and it's been a weapon that they've used, and I think that they're going to continue to use it. Another thing is when Miami went down on that, I think it ended up being a 40-14 run. They're just so posed. I think a lot of teams would have just folded in that situation. You come out with such a hard start. You come out with such a hot start, only to see the lead be taken away, and then you go down double figures. A lot of teams would have folded in that situation, but they've stayed poised, and that's what they've done all playoffs. They were down 14 multiple times to the Bucks and won those games. They were down to the Celtics and just kept clawing and fighting, culminating in that game six loss, which they lost in heartbreaking fashion, was able to, gear up, get ready with, I believe, just one day off and, get ready to play in Boston. So, that's just defined the Heat, the whole series. I think this is the first time in this playoffs that Denver is truly in a situation of stress. This is the first time they're truly going to be tested. Obviously, this is their first home loss. And this is a team that's given them matchup that no one has resorted to this playoffs. No one has really allowed Jokic to do his thing and focus on cutting off the others. So, they're going to have to show a counterpunch here. Mike Malone's a great coach, but obviously Spo's been one of the best in business for a while now, if not the best. And I think he showed up today. So interested to see. I picked Miami to win in six. I stay strong in that. I just think that Miami has been in both of these games relatively without a true Jimmy breakout game. Now that might be because he's going to be guarding Murray and he might be sat, but Miami has a lot of options to get offense, and I don't think that Denver has that. And a sneaky thing to look forward into the series is, Jokic, if this is truly going to be the way that they guard him, it's very punishing, very tiring to keep scoring 40-40, especially in the bruising, posting up way matter that he's going to be doing that. Does fatigue become a factor with him? He had that first quarter where he looked at pretty gas. He scored a lot of points, but because Denver was able to go on that run with their bench, he was able to get an extended break. They've lost the Jokic minutes for the majority of the series and the playoffs. If there's a series situation where they lose the Jokic minutes in Game 2 and he's coming off a short rest, does he have the energy to continuously bang and batter his way down in the low post? So that's another thing to look forward to. So let me know what you think. Leave me a comment and subscribe. And as always, the game is a game.